The Avengers just pretty much disbanded, but we want them back already. Only the next time we see the group on the big screen, it may not be the Avengers we know and love. It may be the Dark Avengers. No, not that kind of dark. The Hulk will not be putting bullets into his mouth again. So who are the Dark Avengers? And how could the upcoming Black Widow movie help set them up? Well, we'll tell you. And clue you in on how a certain Oscorp owner may also be involved with this group of downright evil characters. As Marvel gears up for Phase 4, they're taking us back in time for a Black Widow solo adventure, one that takes place between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War. And while the movie should have been made years ago, the dive into the past could actually reveal a lot about the future, especially if Reddit user The Incredible Shaq is correct on their epic theory. Side note, you think it's the actual Shaq posting these Marvel theories? Anyway, the theory basically goes like this. Not only will the Black Widow movie act as a fond farewell to one of the OG Avengers, but it will also set up a whole new team, the Dark Avengers. Dun dun dun! So what exactly are the Dark Avengers? Is Spider-Man getting his black suit again? Not quite. The Dark Avengers first appeared in a 2009 self-titled comic book series. The essential premise is a group of supervillains who take up the mantle of superheroes, fooling the public and causing plenty of carnage along the way. In the original comic, we saw characters like Norman Osborn pose as Iron Man, Bullseye pose as Hawkeye, Venom pose as Spider-Man, and Moonstone pose as Miss Marvel. Much like other MCU adaptations and groups like the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Dark Avengers concept would be adapted to the characters and villains we already have introduced in the MCU, or are going to introduce in the upcoming Black Widow movie. And this only makes sense from Marvel's perspective. The Avengers name alone holds value and has been the key anchor in the whole MCU. Instead of focusing on Avengers 2.0 or the Young Avengers, the Dark Avengers could be built up to create an epic stage for our heroes to go up against in Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Dark Avengers of the MCU would naturally model themselves as evil versions of the original on-screen Avengers: Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hawkeye, the Hulk, and Black Widow. But with Bullseye trapped in the Marvel Netflix wasteland, Captain Marvel off in space adventures, Norman Osborn not part of the MCU quite yet, and Venom in his own franchise over at Sony, how could the Dark Avengers form? Well, let's start with the Black Widow movie and how three key characters may play a much bigger role down the line. First off, Alexei Shostakov. The Russian character is being played by Stranger Things' David Harbour in the Black Widow movie, and his role could have some major significance if the Dark Avengers come into play. The reason? Well, in the comics, Alexei ended up becoming a character known as the Red Guardian. He was basically the Russians' answer to Captain America, already setting up the opposite world from which the Dark Avengers come from. Time will tell how Alexei's motives play into the Black Widow movie, but we could all see David Harbour chewing up the screen as an evil version of Captain America. At the very least, it'd be a lot better than the unfortunate Hellboy reboot. Another possibility for the Dark Avengers version of Captain America is the Taskmaster. In just the concept art alone, we've seen the Taskmaster wield a shield, and knowing how the villain is able to duplicate the powers of others just by watching them, he could easily hone down plenty of combat skills. But there may be an even better option for the Taskmaster: Hawkeye. If rumors are true and Hawkeye does make a cameo appearance in Black Widow, the Taskmaster would have the ability to instantly learn his archery skills, becoming an expert marksman in the process, and joining the team of Dark Avengers. This all really depends on Taskmaster's fate in the Black Widow movie as well. Besides a few rare exceptions, most villains in the MCU are one and done, either written off fatally or placed in some sort of jail. Unless your name is Loki or Thanos, good luck getting past a single movie. But maybe, just maybe, Black Widow is giving us a big twist by having the Taskmaster stick around and become a key member of the Dark Avengers.
A lot of guys think that.
And now this brings us to Black Widow. Thanks to the Comic-Con coverage of the whole MCU, we learned some details about the new movie and the fact that there will be multiple Black Widows. One of the alternate widows in the film is Yelena Belova, portrayed by Fighting With My Family actress Florence Pugh. In the comics, Yelena has drifted over from the sides of good and evil multiple times, easily making her character a prime option for the Dark Avengers version of Black Widow. In the movie, she may act as an ally to Natasha until she turns on her at the end and gets away. With Natasha out of the picture after her sacrifice on Vormir, Yelena could easily step into the role of the new public Black Widow, fooling others into thinking she's an admirable Avenger. She could easily have a chip on her shoulder, wanting some type of vengeance against the Avengers, either blaming them for the sacrifice Natasha made, or simply jealous of the attention and praise she's received over the years. As the Dark Avengers roster gets built, it's time to venture out of the Black Widow movie. The movie probably doesn't have the space to introduce all 6 Avengers at once, so it would have to be the Dark Avengers movie itself, or some type of post-credits scene that brings on the group of villainous characters. One of these may be the Hulk, and a post-credits scene would feel very fitting. There are two directions the MCU's Dark Avengers could take with the Hulk. The first would be to finally explore the creation of the Red Hulk. In Marvel Comics, Red Hulk is formed with General Thaddeus Ross, a character we've seen pop up in the MCU time and time again. More recently, he was one of the main characters who showed up at Tony Stark's funeral, and the two characters shared a pre-credits scene together following the Incredible Hulk. After years of trying to control the Avengers and the destruction caused by superheroes, the General may be pushed to his limit and resort in transforming himself into Red Hulk. Unlike Mark Ruffalo's Professor Hulk, this Hulk would be an uncontrollable beast who causes destruction and chaos everywhere he goes. Another option for the Hulk doppelganger in the Dark Avengers would be to bring back Abomination. The evil villain took on the Green Hero in Marvel's The Incredible Hulk, and while he was defeated, he never perished. Rather, he got imprisoned in Alaska, held under the observation of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, we all know how many hiccups this secret organization has gone through over the years. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to consider that the Abomination, also known as Emil Blonsky, escapes from his Alaskan prison only to wreak havoc on the world again. The blip caused by Thanos could have easily led to some security issues in the bleak state, allowing Blonsky to lie low until the Dark Avengers felt like the perfect calling. Blonsky also has some Russian connections, making it easy to have the character connect with others like Yelena Belovam or Alexei Shostakov. It depends if Marvel really wants the group to be all Russian or not. Also, it would be a great touch to harken back to one of the original MCU movies, one that has been highly ignored over the years. So there are two viable options for the dark version of the Hulk, and both are pretty well rooted in the MCU already. But there's another well-rooted character we haven't touched upon, and that's Iron Man.
You should talk. You should listen.
Well, just like Blonsky, the Dark Avengers could dive into the past and find a man who despises Iron Man. One of the main antagonists from Iron Man 2, Justin Hammer. Much like the disgruntled employees who turned on Stark Industries in Spider-Man Far From Home, Hammer was out to get Stark in an attempt for his company to become the leading weapons manufacturer. Hammer's plan may have been stopped, but the character lives on behind the cells of a prison. Hammer obviously has the tech and abilities to create his own Iron Man suit. He may have failed early on in Iron Man 2, but he upgraded the War Machine armor and would have a lot of knowledge about the technology. A prison escape or release could lead to Hammer rejoining the fight against anyone involved with Stark Industries. And after Ivan Vanko betrayed him in Iron Man 2, it's only fitting that Hammer loses trust in any other options and decides to don the suit himself, effectively becoming the Dark Avengers version of the Iron Man.
Were you talking to the right guy?
With the world still mourning Tony Stark and Iron Man, Hammer's relations with Stark Industries may easily convince the public that he's on the side of good, doing his part to fill in the shoes of Tony Stark, even if it may take a lot of training to get there. Justin Hammer's story doesn't have to be over after Iron Man 2, and continuing along with some of the same characters is a great way to expand the legacy of the MCU. Plus, it would be downright awesome to see Sam Rockwell and David Harbour acting alongside each other. Both actors are brilliant and could really have some great chemistry on screen. And this leaves us with some of the toughest shoes to fill: Thor. Naturally, we'd love to see Loki posing as his own brother, but the character will probably be a little busy with some time traveling of his own. Although the whole Disney Plus Loki series could lead to his teaming up with the Dark Avengers down the line, the plot may be a little too forced. So for a proper evil Thor in the lineup, we may have to turn to other Marvel movies for these introductions. One of the first examples is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange looks to be exploring all types of different universes, and one of them may contain an evil Thor. Why not add in a campy Chris Hemsworth playing up his role? Maybe he dyed his hair black, deemed himself worthy, and causes all types of trouble with his brother Loki. When he arrives in the MCU Earth, he could be disgusted by the good values of our Thor and join up with the Dark Avengers to get some revenge. Yeah, we're going in pretty deep on this one, but really any character with some type of godlike powers would work. It could possibly be someone from the upcoming Eternals movie. The characters will all have godlike powers, and all it takes is just one to hop onto the side of evil. Okay, so now that the core Dark Avengers are formed, who exactly will they take on? Half of the original group is already out of the picture, with Captain America living it up in retirement, Black Widow perished, and Tony Stark making a sacrifice to save everyone else. Well, Professor Hulk is still seemingly on Earth, there's a new Captain America in the form of the Falcon, and Hawkeye is around as well. Toss in some of the other newer Avengers like Spider-Man, Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Scarlet Witch to have ourselves a true battle. After taking on Thanos, the stakes would need to be high for the Dark Avengers to have a chance of winning. One way the evil team could do this is by turning the public against all the Avengers, and the seeds have already been set for this as well. During the mid-credit scene of Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man's identity is revealed along with a video making it seem like he was responsible for the offing of Quentin Beck. This video alone is enough to cause a lot of public anguish and distrust of our favorite superheroes. And it could also set the seeds for Norman Osborn to make his big debut, not forming the Sinister Six, but gathering people and resources for the Dark Avengers. After Spider-Man's public perception completely flips, it wouldn't take much more to have the Dark Avengers step in their place, have all the power, and create a dire situation for the world. And all of this could begin in the Black Widow movie. We can't wait to see how it all pans out.
Hey, fabulous, I love it.
So what do you think? Should Black Widow introduce the Dark Avengers? Are they a big enough threat for our heroes to take on? How would you form the Dark Avengers team? Would the Sinister Six make more sense? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content.